Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for stopping by. So today we weren't able to see practice once again. This has kind of been happening the last few weeks to kind of end the regular season. However, after practice, we were able to do interviews with Tyler Van Dyke, Charleston Rambo, Mike Harley, and Corey Flagg. I will get into a little bit of some of the things that they had to say, but I want to talk a little bit more about big picture with the Director of Athletics situation at Miami. What does this program look like in the future as it stands today? But speaking of the Director of Athletics, I actually ran into Blake James in passing outside the Hecht Athletic Center after practice. I said hi to him as we walked by. He nodded and said hello. Looked like he was just stopping in, but I didn't ask him to make a comment or any interview situation like the last time I saw him about a month ago. So anyways, just want to pass that along. I thought it was interesting just to see him around. Now, as far as how things are going right now, in terms of a search, what's going to happen with the future, what's going to happen at head coach with Manny Diaz. I think the biggest thing that I'm learning in talking to different people is there seems to be some real uncertainty about with where the athletic department is going to go with this decision. And more importantly, who will be making this decision? I've mentioned in my last VIP article on InsideTheU that there seems to be, or there is this new energy of decision makers, and obviously there's some impact being made with James being let go in that. Now, there is this other side that essentially a Blake James side, a Manny Diaz side, that you're starting to hear is starting to speak up a little bit in terms of they believe Manny Diaz should be able to come back. There's young players. There's that thought process. And I feel like that there's a big tear, or there's definitely torn sides on with where this thing is going to go. I think if we're talking about if things need to change at the head coaching position, I think we'll find out a lot with who the athletic director will be in terms of what's going to happen next with the football program. Now, if you believe that there should be change, that there's not going to be a lot of change in terms of record, can Manny Diaz really turn this thing around? I think there's that side of it. And it's also trying to do things different than has been done in the past in recent years, 15 to 20 years at Miami. However, there's this other side that people keep talking, and I think, frankly, what's hard to decide is who's in charge and with where this thing's going to go in terms of, who's going to make this final decision. Anytime a big-time decision is made, there's always going to be people that don't agree with it. But I find it very interesting with where this thing stands today in terms of which way this is going to go. Do they bring back Diaz for another year? Does a person like Jen Strawley, who's been in the program, get promoted? Do they just essentially keep things status quo and try to make small improvements within the program, get things a little bit better? Or will this be a complete overhaul with the program and its direction? I think at this point it's hard to say which side is going to win this argument. Certainly there's people at the top making these decisions that believe different things, and it will be interesting to see how this all comes together into one final decision. Essentially, the Director of Athletics, who it's going to be. There's certainly some names out there that we've mentioned on the site, so definitely check that out to stay up to date on the site with the latest names. And I think a lot of things will come into play with the head coaching's decision as well, with whoever is going to be the Director of Athletics. I think one thing to keep in mind by anybody trying to make this decision on what's going to happen, what should happen, is basically what's going on with UM under Coach Diaz. And I understand the thought process of why would you make a change if you can't get one of these top guys? But the reality is, with the record that Manny Diaz has at 20-15 in 3 years, I personally believe this is the low point for Miami program in terms of, I think this is its bottom. I think that this is the lowest that should be expected at Miami. I think we've seen this with Randy Shannon. His record was very similar. I think Al Golden had a similar record at Miami. I think regardless of whoever the head coach is, this is what the bare minimum will be with its football program. I don't think that, I think if you think things are going to be completely awful, a new coach is going to win only 3 games or something like that, this is not a program that's going to happen at. A lot would have to happen A lot would have to go wrong for that to happen. I think that people need to be evaluating the absolute ceiling for this program. What is the sky? What can this program be? And I think we've all seen Miami at its peak. We've seen Miami be a 5-time national champion in football. We've all seen Miami produce a lot of winning product, a lot of wins over rivals, be a ranked team, win 10 games consistently, compete for league championships, and produce NFL caliber talent. And we've seen this program also produce some of the best players to ever play this position. I think people need to start evaluating this program at what its peak should be and not necessarily be worried about the floor, because I think that's where they're at. I think with where Miami's at in the Coastal Division, you're going to run into wins. You're going to win enough games. You're going to win some games. You're going to go to bowl games. If you go 6-6, I don't think that's something to be celebrated. I think that's the bare minimum of what this program should be, and I think that's what needs to be evaluated. I think Coach Diaz would admit that, and he has. He knows that this isn't good enough. Now, the thing is, can Coach Diaz be the guy that gets Miami out from under with where they're at right now? Obviously, they should blow out Duke. Duke's not a good team, so Miami would be 7-5 in the regular season, and that should be the bare minimum. I think the big question is, can Miami be better than this under Coach Diaz? I think that whoever is the next coach, I think that they could do that at the bare minimum. And I understand what the fans are saying with really critiquing this program. And honestly, I think the fans deserve a lot of credit, because I think without the fans demanding things to be better, there would not be change. There would not be an administration looking at itself as maybe we should do better. Maybe we need a change at director of athletics. Maybe this program needs a change at football coach. And I think that's important. I do think that sometimes the expectations at Miami are a little high because of what they've done in the past. But I think with what you're expecting right now, I don't think it's too much to expect Miami to be either the best team in the Coastal Division, a division that doesn't have a lot of program prestige programs. And I don't think that you're expecting too much for a 10-win season more than once every 18 years or whatever it's been. It's been once since 2003. So I think Miami should be able to do better than that. I think it can do better than that. I think the program understands that. I think they've got enough players to be able to do that. I think there is a path forward. It'll be very interesting to see how everything changes. I think there will be a lot of player turmoil in the offseason. I think some of that stuff happens regardless who the coach is. I think even if you bring in a new coach, it's going to happen. But I think things are going to be okay at Miami. You hire the right guy, you make the right choices, and I think that they will. I think we all have to stay optimistic because there's already been some changes. But again, as I started this video off, there is a lot of uncertainty, and I'll admit that there is uncertainty because it's very hard to understand with where this program is going and in terms of who's leading it. Does this program want real change? And we'll wait and see. Certainly check the website. I didn't get a chance to touch much on some of the things the players said, but basically, yes, Mike Harley and Charleston Rambo are looking for records. There's a plan to do so. Tyler Van Dyke knows this, and we'll see. And I did ask Mike if the team kind of felt like he learned their lesson. Last time they went to Duke 2 years ago against a team that didn't have much to play for in Duke, and Duke pulled off the upset and beat Miami. So Mike's aware of that and feels like this team will be prepared to win the game. I expect Miami to win this. Duke's not very good and has really struggled getting blown out in a lot of ACC games. So definitely thank everybody for watching. I should have mentioned this earlier if you're here to the end, but definitely drop in the comments. Let me know what you think about the direction of this program. Fair expectations, what should be the expectations for the Miami football program. Definitely drop below. Thanks for everybody for watching. But most importantly, thanks for your passion in the program and for caring about the success of the program, and stay tuned to all these videos and all the stuff we write and talk about with podcasts and all the stuff that we do on the website. So stay tuned, stay locked in, keep being passionate, keep being a fan of the program. Thanks again, and take care.